Back then, I used to think that the front gate was mainly for protection, for separating the inside from the outside, and for making the house look better from the street. But the more I learned about home feng shui, the more I realized that the gate is not just a minor detail. It is actually the place where the very first flow of energy enters the house. Because of that, the front gate is always an area worth paying close attention to. Even a slightly improper setup can lead to negative effects over time. There are certain mistakes at the gate that may look completely normal at first glance, which makes them easy to overlook. It is only after living there for a while that people gradually start to feel a sense of imbalance in their daily activities, their mood, and even the overall rhythm of the entire household. So today, I want to make this video to share with you 5 very common mistakes at the front gate that many people unintentionally ignore. If you are also interested in this topic, make sure to watch until the end of the video. Now, let us get started. The first mistake, and also the most common one, is when the front gate is directly hit by a road. In Feng Shui, this is often called a direct road clash. Simply put, it happens when there is a road, an alley, or a traffic path heading straight toward the house, creating the feeling that all outside movement is rushing directly into the entrance of the living space. This is considered a serious issue because, in Feng Shui, energy entering a home should move slowly, with some curves and pauses before spreading inside. Since the gate is where energy first comes in, a long, straight road pointing directly at it makes that flow too fast, too strong, and too aggressive. In traditional architectural Feng Shui, the entrance and approach to a house are always seen as critical, as they directly affect the sense of safety, comfort, and overall living quality. From a practical point of view, this type of gate also brings clear inconveniences. Houses located along a straight road often deal with traffic noise, headlights shining directly in, dust, and the feeling that outside views go straight into the home. The World Health Organization has pointed out that environmental noise is linked to sleep problems, increased risk of high blood pressure, ischemic heart disease, and other health and mental impacts. Living long-term in a place where vehicles, light, and movement constantly rush toward the front of the house makes it hard to truly relax. This issue does not only happen to houses on major roads. Some cases may seem less serious, but are actually quite similar. For example, a small alley pointing straight at the gate, a house at the end of a dead end, a gate placed right at a curve where vehicles sweep toward the front, or a home near a T intersection. What they all have in common is that outside movement comes in too directly, making it hard for the area in front of the gate to feel calm and stable. The second mistake is when the gate faces sharp objects, corners, utility poles, or large trees directly in front. There is an old saying that describes these direct, unsettling angles. In the past, it could be the corner of a pond, temple roofs, or sharp curved architectural tips pointing toward a house. Today, it often appears as sharp wall corners from neighboring houses, roof edges, pillars, chimneys, utility poles, signal towers, or even pointed decorative details on nearby fences. These may look like normal architectural elements, but when they point directly at the gate, they create a very tense and harsh feeling. In Feng Shui, sharp and pointed forms are associated with strong fire energy, which can disrupt harmony in front of the gate. Over time, people living in such spaces may feel less emotionally stable, and daily life may not feel as calm. From a practical perspective, an entrance constantly facing sharp or pointed objects can also feel uncomfortable every time you come home. These effects are not always obvious at first, but gradually they can reduce the sense of peace in the living space. Another case to watch out for is when a utility pole or a large tree stands directly in front of the gate. A utility pole can block the entrance visually, break the line of sight, and create a cluttered feeling. If there are many wires, the space in front becomes even heavier, less open, and less visually appealing. In Feng Shui, this is seen as blocking the flow of energy, meaning good energy cannot move smoothly into the house. As for large trees, the issue is not that trees are bad, since they are beneficial when placed correctly. The concern is when a tree sits right at the entrance with a dense and low canopy, it can block light, trap moisture, and make the front area darker and heavier. Living long-term in a dim and enclosed entrance can make the home feel colder and less vibrant. Large trees can also affect the foundation, walls, and even pose safety risks during storms. The third mistake: placing sources of dirty energy right at the gate, like wastewater, sewage drains, garbage, or letting water flow straight out through the center of the entrance. This is a very common issue because many people think that as long as the inside of the house is clean, that is enough, while the area right in front of the gate gets overlooked. But in Feng Shui, water is strongly connected to financial energy. A place with clean water, a gentle flow, and a dry, open entrance tends to feel comfortable and welcoming. On the other hand, if the area in front of the gate is damp, dirty, and has unpleasant odors, it is often seen as a place where positive energy struggles to enter, while negative energy tends to linger. To put it more simply, the gate is the first thing your eyes see, your nose notices, and your feet step through every day. So, if this area smells bad, has standing water, or looks messy, it immediately affects the overall impression of the entire house. Even without going deep into Feng Shui, from a daily living perspective alone, it is clear that the quality of the living space is reduced. In traditional beliefs, when water flows strongly straight through the center line of the gate, it is often associated with money that is hard to retain. You can earn it, but you cannot keep it. From a technical construction standpoint, guidelines from the Environmental Protection Agency also emphasize that water should be directed away from the foundation and the exterior walls of a building to prevent prolonged dampness, structural damage, and indoor environmental issues. The agency also recommends that the ground around the house should be sloped so that water flows away from the foundation, instead of pooling near the structure. The specific problems in this area are usually easy to spot. For example, a manhole located right in front of the gate, an open drain giving off bad smells, garbage piled near the entrance, a low front yard that collects water after rain, or water from inside the yard draining straight along the central axis of the gate. Each issue on its own may seem minor, but when they all appear around the entrance, they make the gateway feel heavy, damp, and unclean. The fourth mistake lies in the imbalance between the gate and the main house. Many people focus heavily on the front exterior, so they often want to build a gate that is very tall, very enclosed, and visually impressive to make the home look more upscale and secure. But in Feng Shui, a gate that looks good is not always a good gate. What matters more is having proportions that are balanced with the overall house. When the gate is too large, too tall, or too heavy compared to the main house, it can create a situation often described as the entrance overpowering the home. Simply put, the gate is where energy enters, while the main house is where that energy is held and supports the family's daily life. If the gate stands out too strongly, blocking or overwhelming the house behind it, the overall layout becomes unbalanced. Even visually, it can feel heavy on the outside, while the interior space feels compressed, less open, and less supported. That is why, traditionally, people avoided building a gate taller than the house. From a Feng Shui perspective, a gate that rises above the roofline or is too enclosed can reduce airflow and natural light, especially in homes that already lack open space. Over time, this can make the house feel closed off, heavy, and lacking vitality. In traditional belief, this kind of setup may also suggest instability in family structure, where roles become unclear, and over time, it can lead to tension or a lack of harmony in daily life. Besides height, the size of the gate is also very important. A gate that is too large may look impressive, but it can make energy enter too strongly without staying. On the other hand, a gate that is too small can make the entrance feel narrow, limit openness, and make movement less convenient. A well-designed gate should have proportions that match the house, creating a balanced, clean, and visually comfortable look. Many people also refer to the Loban ruler to choose dimensions that fall into favorable ranges. This is a common approach in Feng Shui-based construction. However, it is important not to focus only on selecting a lucky measurement while ignoring the overall design. A gate considered good in Feng Shui should also match the width of the facade, the height of the house, practical usage, and the sense of balance when viewed from the outside. When calculating actual construction dimensions, it is also important to remember that the clear opening size and the finished size are not the same. The gate frame always takes up additional space, so without planning ahead, the final result can easily differ from the original intention. That is why, when designing a gate with Feng Shui in mind, it is not just about numbers, but also about carefully considering proportions, openness, and overall balance with the front of the house. The fifth mistake: the gate aligns with the front door, creating a direct line into the house or straight into the kitchen, bedroom, or bathroom. This layout may feel convenient, but in Feng Shui it is not ideal, because energy flows in too quickly and too directly without slowing down. A comfortable home usually needs a transition space. Moving from outside to inside should happen in layers, from the gate to the yard, from the yard to the door, and then gradually into living areas. When everything is in a straight line, the house feels exposed, lacks privacy, and loses its sense of warmth. That is why traditional architecture often includes a buffer space, such as a screen, partition, or small courtyard, to soften the flow before it enters the house. These are 5 common gate-related mistakes that many people overlook. So if your home already has one of these issues, how can you fix it? Next, let us look at ways to adjust and balance the energy at the front gate. First, you can use Feng Shui items as support. At the gate, the most common ones include a convex bagua mirror, stone lions or qilin, and wind chimes. Each has its own purpose and works for different issues. For example, a convex bagua mirror is often used when the gate faces a direct road, sharp corners, or strong external pressure. In Feng Shui, its curved surface helps reflect and disperse that incoming force. Stone lions or qilin are more about protection, guarding the entrance and creating a sense of stability. Wind chimes are used to soften the space, making the entrance feel lighter and less stagnant. However, these items should only be supportive. Using too many or placing them incorrectly can make the gate feel cluttered and heavy. Second, architectural and landscaping solutions are more important because they directly affect how energy flows into the house every day. If the gate aligns with the main door, you can create a buffer using a screen, a light partition, large plants, or a small transition space. Even a simple layer like this can slow down the flow and improve privacy. Plants are also very effective. Trees with soft shapes, balanced foliage, and gentle forms can soften sharp angles, reduce direct pressure, and make the front area feel more pleasant. For homes at the end of an alley, lower than street level, or prone to water buildup, it is important to adjust the ground and pathway. The entrance can be slightly raised to prevent dirty water from flowing in, and the path from the gate to the house should have a gentle curve instead of being too straight. Sometimes, just a small adjustment can completely change the feeling of the entrance. And if you are planning to build a new gate or have the chance to redesign it from the beginning, then it is worth considering the gate's direction based on the 5 elements and your personal element to create long-term harmony. In traditional Feng Shui, the gate is where energy enters the home, so its direction is often chosen to align with your element. The goal is to support a smoother flow of energy and reduce potential conflicts. Feng Shui is based on the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. And each of these has long been associated with specific directions in Eastern philosophy. Based on common Feng Shui references, people with the metal element tend to align with west, northwest, northeast, and southwest, and usually avoid south. Those with the wood element often align with east, southeast, and north, and tend to avoid west and northwest. People with the water element usually align with north, west, and northwest, and tend to avoid northeast and southwest. Those with the fire element often align with south, east, and southeast, and tend to avoid north. Meanwhile, people with the earth element usually align with northeast, southwest, and south, and tend to avoid east and southeast. This arrangement follows the balance and interaction principles of the 5 elements in traditional Feng Shui. However, this should be seen as a reference when planning, not a fixed rule. A direction may match your element on paper, but in reality, it may not work well if the gate faces a direct road, sharp corners, dirty water, large obstacles, or an overly harsh layout. Even in modern design, factors like approach direction, natural light, ventilation, and overall balance are still the foundation of a comfortable living space. Feng Shui, when it comes down to it, is simply a way of observing and better understanding the relationship between people and their living space. When your front gate is positioned correctly, designed neatly, and harmonizes with the overall layout, your home is more likely to maintain a sense of stability, warmth, and everyday peace. If you are taking another look at your front gate and feel like something is not quite right, go ahead and leave a comment below. I will read it and go through a more detailed analysis with you in upcoming videos.